Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, including Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, and Rick and Morty. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hello.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing the latest episode of Rick and Morty, the Ricks Must Be Crazy. As always, our Rick and Morty discussions are not suitable for all audiences. Younger audience, they might be explicit and stuff, in coordinates with the show that we are discussing. The rest of the Overly Animated podcasts are appropriate for all viewers. You can find out everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com, and we discuss Rick and Morty every week. Spoilers for this episode and all of Rick and Morty. Delaney, what did you think of The Ricks Must Be Crazy?
I loved this episode. This episode was awesome. The title didn't make sense again. That's fine.
Elaborate on loving it.
Oh, it's just so good. And it was like, we've talked about the Scary Terry episode a lot. And for me, this episode's better than Scary Terry simply because, like, I enjoy this concept more. Like, it was very Doctor Who-y and, like, just... And the B... I don't even know if it really was a B-plot, but, like, the B-plot with Summer was amazing. And it was just so, like, it was so terrible and great.
Yeah.
And, like... And just having more Summer is always good. Even though we left Summer, like, Summer had this really great B plot, and which I guess kind of got into Summer's character a little bit, and also was just really funny because this sassy spaceship, and it was just like whole dealing with like protocols, trying to work around them, and like I don't know, this episode just had all sorts of different tropes that we worked around. It was just really interesting, and we've talked about before how they take a concept. And they, like, keep going with it. Like, the concept of this episode was amazing, and they just, like, kept going with it. It was just so great. Like, yes, all the universes inside the universes is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good example of the show, of, like, what the show does best. It, like, takes an interesting initial concept, and then it just, like, extends it to an absurd level. But I actually think that was the B-plot, and not the A-plot this week. Like, I think this is the best B-plot we've seen on the show. The plot with Summer and the spaceship. Like, it was great. And it was
so good.
Just really absurd, because, like, I forgot that they were on an alternate Earth, and then at the end we get this telepathic spider peace treaty, and it makes more sense if you remember the things that Rick says in the beginning. But that B-plot's so good. And the A-plot is very good, too. I think that this is the show trying to do its take it further than the audience might expect thing, but it maybe doesn't go. It's interesting because my reaction to this episode is it's very good. It's the second best episode this season, and it's very funny. But it's like I almost expected where it's not that I knew where the plot was going, but I wasn't like super surprised by the depths that we went to. So it's like either I'm getting used to the show, which is a possible problem for the show moving forward, or like this A plot just didn't go as deep as maybe it seems like, because it does move very fast, and like we have the initial layer, then we go into the next layer, and then we kind of just do stuff after that next layer. And I don't know, it just all seems very expected, probably because it's just a rehashing of the previous layer, like
yeah,
which is good because they did really interesting things with that, with like this different form of slavery type thing and mimicking the dialogue, and it was clever and stuff, but I guess I was maybe ultimately not just blown away conceptually by where they went, like I am sometimes with the show. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, the concept itself, I think, lends to that. It's micro universe, and it's like, oh, this would make sense, and that we're gonna like. I'm not saying that you could have predicted this necessarily, like going into the episode, but like. Obviously, we're going into a micro universe, and they mentioned another scientist. Like, okay, like that just seems like I don't know. Like one, it's a natural progression of like society, and like this is what happens. So, I mean, I don't really think it's necessarily a problem for the show because we do have really weird concepts that just happen all the time, and maybe it is because we've had the Inception episode, and we like after Inception, like anything that's like that at all, we're just like, it's Inception. I know what's going to happen next because like we've had that thing over and over, and it's been parodied in everything ever, and everyone's seen Inception, and so I think it's more of that, and just being like familiar with that. I don't really want to call it a trope, but like that like device at this point. So, and because we've had the Scary Terry episode, I just think inherently that's not necessarily a problem, but it's just a characteristic of this concept that they were playing with, the micro universe.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe it's not so much that I'm getting used to them taking things to an absurd level. Maybe it's just this thing within a thing within a thing concept. Maybe it's just too similar to the Inception episode.
Yeah, it's literally the Inception episode. It's just like a different, like, this is like the more sci-fi version of it than the like Scary Terry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I do ultimately think this was a very strong episode. Do you agree with me? This is the second best episode this season.
Yes, I would say that. I hesitate a little bit because this might be my favorite episode this season.
Okay.
Like, I just loved this concept. Like, I just loved this episode. It was so great. And like the B plot is just so good. Like, super solid B plot. And like we've been complaining here and there, like, oh, this B plot wasn't as good as. So I think this episode kind of has it all. Like, it's a really good A plot. I mean, maybe it's a little tiresome since we've had Scary Terry and like, it's Inception, blah blah blah. But it's a really strong A plot. Like, it hits all the points. I think, like, it hits all the highs and lows and like what you expect from an episode. Then we have a really solid B plot. So I think like overall, like, it's a really really good episode, and like just has all the strengths that are there and what we want from an episode.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Total Recall is episode 4 of the season, is the one I would say is the strongest, and that one didn't have a B plot. This one, it makes best use of the typical episode structure of Rick and Morty, and I just think it succeeds a lot. One thing maybe too is that I can't look at this, remember this episode and think of one super standout gag from it. Like, it was a lot of really solid funny stuff, but I can't remember one thing that just blew me away.
Well, the episode itself was kind of a gag, like the whole concept of the episode. Yeah. So maybe, I mean, the spaceship itself was just a really funny gag. Also,
yeah, that's like the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I think that is what the really good strength of this episode is, that like maybe it doesn't really have a standout gag, but because the concepts are so good in this episode that they're like running gags, and it's like the concept itself is just so funny.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. I think maybe this is the strongest conceptual episode. That's very possible. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go through some of the details and the jokes and stuff, and rehash the jokes from the episode, laugh at them as per how you discuss a comedy show. Yes. And then maybe we'll get a clearer vision of the overall quality. So we start off on an alternate version of Earth right away, and they introduce it by, it's an Earth that has a Ball Fondlers movie franchise.
So great.
They seem to keep wanting to bring Ball Fondlers back, and
I'm glad. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with running gags.
The 3 qualities Rick points out about this Earth are they have giant telepathic spiders, which I forgot about until they came back then. They have 11 9/11s, which is that's the one they don't talk about again, but
yeah,
just 11 9/11s, not 9 9/11s. Okay, interesting. And then the best ice cream in the multiverse. This seems, I don't know, this is like very Rick things to point out about the differences.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised he pointed out the giant telepathic spiders, to be honest.
Let's talk about 11 9/11s. Is this 11 terrorist events on 9/11 different years? Or is this just things that are colloquially referred to as 9/11s?
It has to be either way. I don't know. And I'm assuming it's the spiders, like the spiders are doing these things. So, I mean...
That's a good point. Are the spiders the terrorists in...
Yeah, do we have like a war on terror, but it's a war on telepathic spiders?
That's a good point.
And then we get to the end of the episode, and he's like, I think that's a fair price to pay for spider piece. So, which is also another, like, that's a really quality line.
Yeah.
But I think that might be it. I think we had spiders, like, and we've just been at war with the spiders for a really long time.
Well, the president points out that the spiders use their telepathic abilities to lure people into webs and then for later consumption. So I don't know if they have terrorist attacks on top of that. What defines a 9/11? Is it a plane into a building? Is it taking place on 9/11? Like,
is it just like the sheer like shock and terror of it all?
We're
Like, there's a
thinking
lot of factors.
we're thinking about this throwaway line way too much, but I feel like these questions must be asked.
No, I mean, well, when we think about it, I mean, we've had like one 9/11, and it's like we talk about it all the time, which as we should, but like we don't really refer to other things as a 9/11. So I don't really know how to take this line.
How do you have more than one 9/11, much less 11 9/11s? Yeah, that's my question.
Maybe that's the true beauty of this throwaway line is there's so many different ways to talk about it. Like it's just.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. They get into the ship and there's problems with the battery, and Morty says, "Is it the quantum carburetor?" And Rick says, "You can't just add a sci-fi word to a car word and hope it means something."
So that's another great line.
Yeah, that
he says microverse battery.
Yeah, and he says microverse battery.
So good.
I think that this is like parodying the flux capacitor, right? That's definitely what this is. Yeah.
That's definitely what oh man.
From of course from Back to the Future. It's microverse battery, and Rick warns Summer to ignore all thoughts that feel spidery. And I forgot this on the first viewing when I was watching it live, but that's what's a spidery thought?
That's what I was going to ask. I don't know. Is it like, man, I really want to go into that dark like forest over there? I don't know. Something like
that web
like,
seems
run away
really
from the
appealing.
basilisk. That's a spidery line. Spidery thought. Stay
Yeah.
away from the basilisk.
Yeah.
I know.
Let's okay, so then we get the whole keep Summer safe introduction thing, and we get the beginnings of the B plot. When the thing cuts the guy into like cubes.
Itty bitty pieces.
And the other guy's like, "That's my daughter's pediatrician," which is really random.
So.
And the other guy, and he paralyzes him, and Summer's like, "I don't feel safe," right?
You know, she's like, "Don't hurt him or don't kill him." The spaceship's like, "Okay."
I do like the literal spaceship, right? That's great.
The literal spaceship is.
Have we heard the Rick's ship's voice before?
I don't think so.
So this is like the first time we're hearing we're hearing
like
the TARDIS's voice.
Yeah, this is like the Doctor's wife.
This is the Doctor's wife. Yeah, exactly. It's from Doctor Who. Okay, so now we're inside the battery in the A plot, and then we'll do all the B plot stuff at once at the end. But Morty's confused where they are, and Rick's like, "Remember 8 seconds ago when I said we're going to go inside the battery?" And now I'm like, "Wow, this wasn't expected at all." And that was great. I love this entire thing.
No, that was so good. The Morty's like...
Where he's like, "All right, I get it. We're inside the battery. You don't have to bust my balls."
So good.
That whole exchange.
Like, the dialogue in this episode is just really good.
It's very good, yeah. You have to, all right, I get it. You don't have to bust my balls.
Good.
It's like kind of...
It's the sassiest Rick has been.
Kind of just
like,
making fun of like rehashing where people are inside TV shows, right? Yeah.
Good.
Morty says that the Rick talks about the entire concept of an entire universe inside a brain. By the way, this initial concept is just absurd. Like,
it's so good.
But we get past it very quickly because the episode moves past it very fast.
He made an entire universe to power his car.
Yeah.
What a Rick thing to do.
I mean, I feel like this is kind of addressing a plot hole from the show, which is like, how does this spaceship car have enough power to do things? But so now this is a very good explanation for that.
Yeah, now we know.
Yeah. It's about so this is like slavery with extra steps, says Morty, and Rick says, "Ooh la la, someone's gonna get laid in college."
Another good line.
A+, yeah.
As I sit and watch this in my college dorm room.
Are you Morty in college? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I hope not.
Why do you hope not?
I mean, I hope I'm a little up, like a few steps above Morty here.
Why? You don't? Well, what's wrong with Morty?
I mean, he's a little clueless sometimes. He was really good in this episode, though. So he
very quickly adapts to the tree people, and it feels like he's very capable here.
In this, because he had to.
He did have to, yeah. And they put on antenna, and he says people need to think we're aliens,
which is hilarious because they're humans.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because they already look different from them. Why do they need to put on?
It's such like Rick. Like what even Rick?
What is this dumb concept? You already look different from them. Why do you need to put on these things? Why did these people inside the battery develop evolve to look like this?
That's a good, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess it's just different habitats and things, like however they create it.
If you can create an infinite universe inside of anything, then how do we know that we're not just a universe inside of something?
I mean, we could be. We don't know.
I guess that's what this episode addresses, right? Like,
Yeah.
they don't know that they are, the other people.
No idea.
Uh,
It's like when people joke, it's like, am I a sim? Is that when I forget things, someone clicked it off?
I'm pretty sure you're the only one that jokes about that.
No, other people do, I promise.
Okay, I'll take
Sind
your word for it.
asks and be like, yes, I know what Delaney's talking about.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure people are saying that, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Sure. Rick says Morty, you have to wait for the slow ramp. It really gets their dicks hard.
Another good
And
line.
then it's classic Rick and Morty fashion. He just extends the dialogue, like, as the animation of the ramp goes all the way down. It's great. Flip him off. I told them it means peace among worlds. How hilarious is that?
So, let's troll the entire species and world I created.
But like at a fundamental level, this is very flawed. Like, why are we assuming that this people are going to develop similar societal standards for like what things are, so that this would be the opposite of what they already think? How are they even? I guess they're speaking the same language through Rick's language thing, right?
It's only funny to Rick, and that's why it's funny. Like, like it's just,
it's only funny to Rick. Yeah, but then Zeep gets.
that's why he did it.
Zeep at the end does the peace sign and says, "How hilarious is this?" I don't know if that one makes sense.
Well, I mean, maybe in their culture, it's something that's bad.
That's what it's implying. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Why do they develop even the same hand signs?
I don't know.
These are the questions that need to be asked.
These are important questions. And why did we develop signs? We don't know.
The president says "fuck you," and Rick gets mad, and then he said, "It told me it means much obliged, right?"
Yes.
And then the president says, "Blow me," and Rick's like, "No, blow me." Oh, great!
So good.
Then we meet Zeep Zanthorpe, voiced by Stephen Colbert.
Which is incredible.
Great. Good timing on this, with Colbert's show premiering in like a week. That's good. So the concept of this, Justin Roiland, the creator, gave a Entertainment Weekly interview last week, and like the concept is just that this is like Rick's matching, or someone who finally matches Rick's intelligence. And I actually really like this concept because like, you're creating an infinite universe inside of your thing, then there's bound to be someone who matches you inside this infinite universe if it's infinite.
Yep.
It's like a very good concept. We never met someone before who challenged Rick intellectually, right? So that's what we're going for here. They have...
The closest we came was not the robots, those whoever's who put them in the simulation, and then Rick still is like, "Oh, well, you're dumb."
Yeah. We have we usually just have like higher life form beings, not ones that like could have a similar concept of intelligence as Rick. We have Rick's Giving, which we go through the parade of later.
That was really great.
They have some other stuff, and then
they teach about me in school.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That would happen if there's just one alien guy came down. Yeah. The president wants them to show Zeep to show them into the thing. This isn't a fucking chocolate factory. I don't have time. So that doesn't make any sense. How do they have Charlie's the chocolate factory in their universe?
Maybe there's an alien version of Charlie the Chocolate Factory.
Why? No, it doesn't make sense. Why do they have? How are they communicating? How are they the same looking species?
It's like, read these books and watch these movies. Here, who knows? We don't know.
That's true. He could have brought them down when he came down. Yeah. Time moves more slowly in the thing, so has time to show him off. Usually, when we do the time moves more slowly thing, though, it ages the person the same amount as the thing you're in. That's how it worked in Interstellar. That's a very important comparison to make, but I didn't get this sense that was what was happening here.
No, I don't think so.
It seemed like they're aging like the outside world. Oh man, you screwed up your physics, Rick and Morty. Come on.
Darn it.
Your very theoretical physics involving layers inside whatever the heck happened in Interstellar. But then, so now Rick, this is the part where Rick comes along to Morty's way of thinking before slavery with extra steps, and then Zeep says, "Eek barbadirkle, you're gonna get laid in college." And Rick says, "Eek barbadoople, it's a pretty fucked up ooh la la."
So good.
Which like makes a lot of, I think some of the stuff makes more sense if you're like, because initially you're not prepared for the dialogue to mimic the previous ones. You're not trying to memorize it the first time. So you miss him saying ooh la la, you're gonna get laid in college. So yeah. So maybe this is a good episode to rewatch. I don't know.
It's probably funnier. Not necessarily like some of the things are funnier the first time, but the dialogue definitely.
Usually Rick and Morty is funnier the first time, but you maybe can see more things on rewatch. But then Rick's plan is to find someone else like Zeep in Zeep's world, so that he can see the hypocrisy of it like Rick did. And somehow this plan actually makes sense in terms of them getting out of there. I don't this nice crafting by the writers on this. It actually does make sense.
Yes.
Forcing him to keep Zeep to say all microverses are bad. Yeah. And then he says, then we can get back, we can get ice cream, we can slurping it up. The very typical Rick thing to say in the show.
And then Morty's just like, no.
Yeah. Let's skip all the B-plot stuff and continue, and then we'll do the B-plot at the end. Then we get Zeep's equivalent in the third level down, who's voiced by Nathan Fielder from Nathan For You, who's awesome. You should watch that show. And it's not animated, though. And he says... then we do all the stuff with him, and eventually it's like, did you create my universe? Is my universe a miniverse? And that's the universe where I was born, where my father died, where I couldn't make time for his funeral because I was building my universe. That whole thing. Yes. It was so good delivered in Nathan Fielder's monotone. And
Kyle, the sad
Kyle, Kyle the sad scientist, and then he goes in the ship and kills himself right away.
Which I was waiting. I was like, he's going to kill himself. I'm just waiting for this to happen. I'm just waiting.
This might have been like the most, the best gag of the episode, I think.
Yes.
Him just like instantly getting in and then him killing himself on the mountain.
And of course they're trapped.
And then they don't care though. They care that they're trapped.
And then Morty is there like making it worse. Like he's the reason it happened.
But then Zeep figures it out and he's like, that's what you use my universe for, starting your car? And Rick says, don't flatter yourself. There's always AAA, you fucking cocksucker. There you go. I think that's what he said. It's sometimes hard to tell the curses over the bleeps of the show, but I think he said fucking cocksucker. And Zeep says, I didn't ask to be bored. That's great. Thank you, Zeep, for that. What do you think of them being able to develop technologies from scratch in this new world?
I'm not surprised. Like, it would make sense.
I kind of like that this is like... this is kind of Rick's... I feel like this is a display of Rick's intelligence more so than we've seen before, right? Because he has to start completely over, and he's able to, like, right away. So that's, like, very impressive, because we always see him with his gadgets and stuff, and we assume he built them and stuff, but we never actually see him building things like this.
And it's even, theoretically, these aren't elements that they know if it's a different universe, and, like, they're dealing with all sorts of new stuff, and they're still able to make things.
Yeah. Zeep says, I hope your god's a big as dick as you. And I forget what Rick says, but it's like, yeah, or else I wouldn't be here. Yeah. More then we get the entire thing with Morty and the tree. But I mean, they fight, and then there's a radioactive deer or something, right?
I really enjoyed that they were like standing like in the mountain, like launching shit at each other from across. Yeah. Like, because I've literally done that with my brother in the hallway, like in our rooms. Like, that is such a childish thing to do, and it was great.
It was pretty great. Then he says they only follow the will of the forest, says Morty as the forest person, and Rick says, gay, and Zeep says that is pretty gay. That was, I mean, like, I don't know where you're on thinking using gay, and like, okay, Community has a famous usage of gay by character Chang in there, and he says, ha, gay, and it's like, obviously we shouldn't use gay as an insult like this, but I still kind of find it funny in these shows.
Well, I mean, at this point, like it's a thing. Like there's a meme.
It's kind of a meme at this point, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like. I'm personally am not offended at this moment.
Yeah,
but it is one of those things that like when it gets in a show like this, I don't necessarily think it's like the worst thing ever. But then people still do use it, and
people emulate it. Yeah, it's like this show knows it's being tongue in cheek, but people who are emulating it might not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people do say that's gay, and like they
don't understand. Yeah. I think it was more of a problem when Community did this like 5 years ago. But now I feel like we're probably past it. Like not in terms of obviously people are still use it, but I feel like them including it in this is not probably damaging.
Like this, like we're to the point where like when it happens in a show like this, it's not demeaning to the gays. It's
I mean, obviously it's not intentional by
like it's like, and it's more like they're making fun of like the will of the forest. Like that's what it's making fun of, and it's not like I don't know. Like,
it's still a problematic. It's played straight in this. It's a problematic usage, obviously, because they're using gay as like effeminate or dumb or whatever. But it's like Rick's delivery on it is hilarious. But also Rick's delivery on it is hilarious, and having Stephen Colbert say that is pretty gay after after Rick says that. I don't know. I kind of.
But I do think like I mean the show was satirical, and like it's not like this was meant as
You can still have satire be overall not beneficial, but
and we had this discussion about was it Mr. Meeseeks?
Yeah. That's Mr. Meeseeks episode. Yeah, that's more of a different. That's more of a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. This I'm not like.
This is
I'm not offended.
This is colloquial language, which is probably not the biggest issue anymore. Like I do think community used this 5-6 years ago, and it was like hilarious when they did it. Just not because of the word, but just like everything about that scene. And I feel like looking back, that may have not been good. I don't think Dan Harmon cares. I'm not convinced he cares, but whatever. I'm not gonna spend this time holding Dan Harmon accountable. But now it's slightly different, I would say. And I know separating myself from that completely, I think this was funny.
Well, yeah, I thought it was funny. Yeah. And like I would be one who you would think would be offended, but nope, thought it was funny. Obviously, we would prefer that like this wasn't a joke, that this wasn't a thing, but it was funny. It worked. There are definitely worse, and it wasn't intended as hurtful. It's just one of those things, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. More.
We buried that.
Yeah,
enough,
we buried that. Okay. Morty leads them to the treat bowl. He says, "Get us the fuck out of here." They eat every third baby because they think it makes fruit grow bigger. Interesting. And he says, "I masturbated to an extra curvy piece of driftwood the other day." Because he didn't have his laptop.
Also really funny.
Whenever they seem to have Morty masturbation jokes quite frequently this season.
A lot. It's still not as good as like your friend Grace. That is still the best one.
I was thinking of your friend Grace. Yeah, what was the line?
Yeah, I think that was her name. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about your friend Grace, and then she runs out screaming.
Yeah, it's great.
But I think this might be the second best, because I do like extra curvy piece of driftwood. It's pretty funny. But this still isn't the best one. I don't know if we'll be able to top that one, where it's like, I was thinking about your friend Grace.
There was another line too, though. I fucking hate you, or something, like preceded that. It was like that. But now we have Rick and Zeep becoming temporary allies. Rick says, I'm an alcoholic. Zeep is an opium addict.
You're like, high five.
High five addictions, yay. Like, there is other problematic stuff in this too. Obviously, like taking addiction slightly and stuff like that. But that's
and I mean, in the whole I don't know if it's a trope or what, but making fun of like civil like in this case it's a prehistoric civilization, but it's obviously like using examples that are like less developed and things like that. So like this is a thing that happens a lot in like fiction and
in what context?
Well, like that perpetuates like the idea that like a culture is like less
Oh,
lesser
yeah.
because
Oh yeah,
like,
true. Yeah, even just from a third world culture being like savage,
yeah,
even just because it's not
yeah,
technologically developed. Oh man, this
yeah.
is the scene. If we break the show down, this is filled with problematic
Yeah,
ideas.
no,
Yeah,
it is. It
yeah,
is. Which is, I wanted to point that out because we just spent so much time talking about the whole gay thing. This is much more of it. This is a worse issue than
yeah. That
the
this is a worse
gay
shoot too,
bit.
and so is make constant making light of alcoholism, which this show constantly
Yeah,
does. Yeah,
yeah,
that
oh
too.
my
So
God.
you know, we just these are.
That's literally what Rick's character is.
It is, yeah. So you know, there's societally problematic things if you don't understand that it's satire. Yeah, there you go. Okay. As Morty is leaving, he says, "You guys are the fucking worst. Your gods are a lie. Fuck nature. Fuck the trees." That's pretty great.
And then they leave.
Yeah. Fuck nature. How is he able to live with them for months?
I don't know.
And,
Like he like became their leader.
Yeah, but they don't have leaders. They worship nature.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They keep focusing on that, which really cracks me up because they're like, they'll pay each other.
Yeah.
Like that was really funny.
Then Rick and Zeep have a race to get out. Rick breaks Zeep's multiverse or miniverse or whatever they end up calling it. They have this whole thing with that. And then when they're racing it out, Rick tells Morty to turn into a car because a while ago he implanted him with some sort, I forget what the line is, a chip with nanobots in his bloodstream.
So it's a chip that like activate the nanobots.
Yeah, he already put nanobots in his bloodstream too. And he has to think about it, and if he thinks about it hard enough and focuses on it, he can turn into a car. And Morty tries to do it, and then never mind, here's a taxi. Pretty great.
Oh man. I think it might be the most absurd thing that has happened.
Really, this entire show, that's the most absurd thing.
I think that Morty can turn into a car, yes. Because the whole idea that his grandfather was like, I'm going to put all this stuff in you, so for some reason I'm going to need you to be able to turn into a car later.
It also is just like very in character for Rick. Like, I totally buy it.
I buy it too, it's completely in character, but it's like, I can't believe he did this. And then the stinger is like the most
It's like he wasn't just fucking with him, he actually did it.
He can actually turn into a car.
Oh my god, yeah. The pretty, I don't know, just kind of brilliant writing. Like, never mind, here's a taxi. Just like, it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then Rick gets there first, but then he has to fight Zeep.
He takes off his shirt.
Yeah, and then he wins the fight, I guess. And then they get out of
the
there.
whole school thing, was that really necessary?
The whole what?
You just could talk about like, you've never been to school, but I'm a teacher.
Oh yeah, the whole school thing. I don't know what it is
dumb.
about that. Yeah, and then they get out of there, and then Rick is confident that the car started because either they're gonna have to toss a broken battery or the battery wouldn't be broken.
That was like this is up there with like Rick almost Rick trying to kill himself, and when they bury their bodies in the backyard. Like, this is up there.
This is really fucked up, is what you're saying.
Yes.
It's so brilliant. Like, this makes perfect logical sense, and like it totally makes sense that someone who's Rick's intellect Rick would expect someone who's his own intellect to come to the same conclusion.
Oh, def.
It's real fucked up is what I'm saying.
Oh, messed up.
But it's kind of perfectly dark at the end, I would say.
Yes, it is. I agree.
And then they go to the ice cream shop, and there's flies in my ice cream. All ice cream is now for all beings, no matter how many legs. What the fuck did you do? Like, that's what he questions it. Yeah.
Now we have to cover the big plot. That was so
ice cream spider, and the stinger. Rick is Morty turning it into a car, and then he looks sad. It's absurd. Okay, let's talk about the B plot. So we already talked about the beginning, but then the police come, and Summer says no forced psychological option detected gestating.
And you're like, what?
And then the kid comes out. Oh my god, Hunter!
That was so. This episode is so fucked up.
It's really fucked up. Yeah, that was great. The car says, man. All of you have loved ones. All can be returned. All can be taken away.
And Summer's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They all get their car and leave. Like, no, bye.
That scene is brilliant. It's so good. Yeah. So good. Later, if Summer says, if it's more melting ghost babies, no more of that. And then the car says, you are not making this easy. My function is to keep Summer safe, not to like keep Summer like totally stoked about like the general vibe and stuff. That's how you talk. That's you. That's you how you talk.
Oh
yeah.
my god. I was dying. Like, I loved the car already, but then like the car got sassy and I was done.
That's a very like stereotypical comedy thing to add after an impression. That's you. That's how you talk, and the car saying it is great.
So good.
Oh my god.
Like, it's so sassy.
It's great. Then the car says, brokered a peace agreement between the giant spiders and the government. The president, who is, I don't know who the president is supposed to be, Bill Clinton, probably? Someone like that. And the spiders will no longer use their telepathic abilities to make us wander into webs for later consumption. And no matter how many legs, there'll be peace. Not a bad trade for spider peace.
Spider piece.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then that's
Get
how
off the car.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Oh man.
How did the ship broker this?
I'm not even gonna question. I buy it. Like
How did it do it from the parking lot?
No, that's the best part. Wi-Fi, obviously.
Obviously Wi-Fi.
The internet is the answer to everything.
So yes, that's the B plot. Yeah, oh my god. I actually think the B plot is like even stronger than the A plot.
It's so good. And I just really like the funny, like, no matter how many legs. Like,
yeah.
It's so good. Everything about this is perfect. Like, this is the best B plot. Like, I like this B plot even better than Jerry Daycare.
It's better than Jerry Daycare, yeah.
Which I didn't think I'd ever, like, I could obviously be like, that's better, but I don't know if I like it better. No, I definitely like this better than Jerry Daycare. And I didn't think I'd ever enjoy anything more than Jerry Daycare.
It's, like, definitely better, yeah.
Like, this is so good.
Overall about the episode, after we talked about it, you think it's your favorite of the season?
Oh, I don't, but episode 4 was so good.
Yeah.
Rough. It's a rough call.
I'm all about episode 4 being... Like, I think episode 4 is just brilliant. And this one is, like...
It is.
I don't think this is an all-time great, but I think it's, like, very good. You know, like, excellent, very good, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for this might be one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. I think it's up there with some of the show's best.
So,
Alan Tudyk, by the way, was the police officer, I think, who's father of Hunter.
Father of Hunter.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. This episode. So good.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. Any other thoughts on the Ricks Must Be Crazy overall? Yeah, we were both very high on it.
Are we in microverse?
I think we are in a microverse.
Do we power? I hope we power something more impressive than a car battery.
But it's like, but if we powered the TARDIS, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm fine with the TARDIS.
Yeah, come on, that's fine.
Well, the TARDIS isn't a car, Dylan. God.
Gosh. It's a living spaceship from...
Yeah, exactly.
From the Time Lord planet. Gosh.
You mean Gallifrey? You can't even... It's Gallifrey.
Look, Doctor's coming back in a few weeks, okay? Like, maybe next week, maybe?
Get your shit together.
Yeah, I gotta get it together by then.
I thought it was September 19th. I could be wrong.
Okay, it's somewhere around then. Okay, this show is off next week, Rick and Morty. I don't know why, but it said that at the end of the episode. But then when it comes back, we get Rick putting his brain into a younger clone of himself and going to high school. Excellent. Great.
I'm excited.
Great. That's what's coming up. I'm Dylan Hysen. That's Delaney Stovall. You can find our social media links and everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can support our Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, Andy, Beatrice, Mitch, Nate, Cordell, and Shayna. A.k.a. Buzz Lightyear, Beatrix Strange, Fever Mitch, Nathan Fillion, Cordia University, and Hannah. And, yeah, we're going to continue podcasting on Rick and Morty when it's back the week after this one. Not sure what we're doing next Monday yet. We'll figure it out. I
apologize if you can hear the bells.
I cannot hear the bells, but interesting. I think that Gravity Falls is also back the week after next. I can check that. So it might be another double Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, this show actually airs...
it'd be a double Monday anyway.
Why would it be a double Monday anyway?
Well, even if Rick and Morty, like, if Rick and Morty aired next Monday, it would still air the Monday after next, so it would be a double Monday anyway.
No, well, not in this case, because I think it is this... What's next week? September 7th is the next Gravity
7th.
Falls. So that
Yeah.
is there's Gravity
so it's
Falls
not-
next week, but no Rick and Morty.
Okay, so it's not a double Monday.
No. Okay, cool. So we have
Okay.
something to talk about next Monday. Cool. That is Labor Day. And yeah, that's why
Yes, it
that's
is.
why Rick and Morty's off, but I guess
Not Gravity Falls.
Disney XD does not care, apparently. Okay.
No.
Last thoughts.
Remember to message Dylan or me on Tumblr and be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Delaney, about The Sims, and being like, yeah.
Yeah,
joke.
nobody's going to do that.
Yeah, no. They are. I
literally no one's going to do that. Don't
Literally,
worry.
there's going to be at least one person.
Nope. 0 people.
Yep.
I can
No,
tell you.
now they have to. They're gonna do it.
It's okay. No, don't do it, people. Okay.
Hey,
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And see you. Oh, by the way, Wednesday. No, please. We'll be back Wednesday. I think we're gonna have a Frozen retrospective. So that's very similar animated fare to this episode. You know.
Oh, yeah,
Very
definitely.
similar. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.